Hi you, and welcome back to The Bridge. If this is your first time here, my name is Lindi. What is this channel all about? So we have conversations, discussions, videos that help to facilitate the transition from high school to university, but mostly we have conversations about university, and today is no different. So a few months ago, I was making videos about roommates and private accommodation versus university residence accommodation and just roommates. But today I thought, hey, because change starts with me, because change starts with you, I should make a video on how to be a good roommate. So yeah, I hope you find this video helpful, and if you've got anything to add, please write it in the comments down below. So how do you be a good roommate? So as I mentioned in the previous video, the fundamental way to know how to be a good roommate is to ask your roommate. And that usually happens when you have the conversation. So the conversation is usually a chat that you should have with your roommate on the day of or during the week of first moving in and meeting your roommate. And what this conversation is about is just to get to know one another and get to know each other's habits, get to know each other's pet peeves. Like, what behavior do you find completely unacceptable? What will you accept, what will you not accept, and boundaries to be put into place. So for example, when it comes to alarms, when it comes to, is the light on or off, should we have the lamp on or off, things like noise, things like visitors, do you prefer to have guests over? No, I don't really. Okay, no, that's fine. Basically, that's what the conversation is all about, is discussing what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, and basically finding a common ground and compromise. So that's the first thing, is how do I be a good roommate? Just ask your roommate, and that's usually done through the conversation. So what this video is about is just to, besides the conversation, is to just set some fundamentals, some basic like principles on how one can be a good roommate. And all these tips, all these guidelines can all be said in literally 3 sentences. And these 3 sentences are: be clean, be respectful, and be considerate. Be clean, be respectful, be considerate. How do you be a good roommate? Is ask yourself these 3 questions. When you're about to do something, ask yourself, is it clean? Is it respectful? Is it considerate? So under the first principle, be clean, is simply that. If you're living with someone else, be clean, be organized. And that doesn't mean that your side of the room has to be spotless or impeccable. There shouldn't be a single spot of anything anywhere. No, but it means it should be livable. It should be maintained. It should have a certain level just of organization, of cleanliness. And this generally means, like, don't leave clothes on the floor, right? You should still be able to walk, and that's setting a very low standard. Just generally keep your side of the room tidy, keep your side of the room organized, and that's all. All right, and then remember the second and the third was be respectful and be considerate. So the following smaller rules will fall under those guidelines. Noise. Take consideration when your roommate is doing certain things. So for example, if your roommate is sleeping, try to be super quiet. If your roommate is studying, try to be super quiet. The other thing that goes under be respectful and be considerate is remember to respect boundaries. They are like natural, ordinary boundaries, guys. Things like, don't take things that don't belong to you. So if your roommate has their side, you have their side. Don't take clothes and wear them without asking. Like, respect those just natural boundaries. One of the quickest ways to conflict is to assume that your roommate's gonna be okay with it. Right now it's okay with it because they're always okay with it. Like if I do this, they're gonna be okay with it, and if I do this, they're gonna be okay with it. And if I bring friends today, they're gonna be fine with it, and if I bring friends tomorrow again, and the next day and the next day, they're gonna be okay with it. Even if you're close with this person, like sometimes you find that on a specific day your roommate just isn't feeling as great, or they had a test that didn't go as great, and so they're just not in the mood for you to bring guests over and friends over and to make noise. Maybe your roommate's really tired that day and they just planned to sleep in all day because they've had a hectic exam week or they've written so many exams. So don't assume. It's always better to ask. It's always better to be over considerate than under considerate. And then also remember, when it comes to boundaries, let your roommate know if and when things change. So remember when you have the conversation at the beginning of the year and you say, you know, I'm fine with this, I'm not okay with this, you know, sure, you can bring guests over, I don't mind. And then 3 months into it, you realize, actually, I'm not as okay with this as I thought I was. I'm not okay with my roommate being able to bring guests over any time of the day. You know, it disturbs my sleep, or it disturbs when I want to study, or it might seem like an awkward or tough conversation to have, especially if you get along really well with your roommate. But trust me, it's better than slowly growing resentful, or slowly becoming angry or irritated or agitated and souring the roommate relationship, and your roommate doesn't even know why. Like, it's not, they don't know why, and because they don't know why, they can't change it. So if a boundary of yours does change, if something that you initially agreed to just isn't something that you're okay with anymore, be willing to ask your roommate, hey dude, can we just like sit down? You know, I know initially I agreed that this was okay with me, but yeah, I've just been feeling like I'm not as comfortable with it anymore. Again, most people are understanding, so, and will be willing to accommodate whatever concerns that you might have. And then the thing that ties all of this together is be consistent. Be consistent in everything that you do. Be consistent in being clean. Be consistent in being respectful. Be consistent in being considerate. All those things that you guys discussed and agreed upon, be consistent in maintaining those. And the last thing that I'd say, and it has nothing to do with any of these, it's just a completely extra thing. How do you be a good roommate? Every now and again, you can, if you desire, you can do something nice for your roommate. So for example, if they're heading into kind of like a exam period and you know they're a bit stressed, you can always just buy them something small, like a little chocolate or a little, you know, pack of biscuits, a little note just to say, hey, hope your exam go well. Obviously you don't have to, but it's always nice and thoughtful and considerate, and any roommate I think would really enjoy something like that. Yeah, so that's really it. If you forget any of the things, any of the small things I said about noise and boundaries and do something sweet, if you forget anything, remember these 3 things: be clean, be respectful, and be considerate. You will figure it out along the way. When conflict arises, remember to talk about it, but it's something that just you will figure it out along the way, and you will be just fine and you will thrive. So you'll be a-okay. But thank you so much for watching this video, and if you have anything else to add that could perhaps help a future roommate or someone who's about to move to university, please put your advice in the comments below. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a good week. Bye.